good defense there, DeAndre Jordan. And Joe Harris gets the starting nod, and he helped Brooklyn get off to a good start. Not sure if it was just a concerted effort to get the ball to Joe, or that's how the game flowed, but he came through. In fact, he had 4 field goals in the first quarter. That's more than Harden, Durant, and Irving combined. The Nets led by 11 after 1. They didn't trail in this game at all up until this point. Would they keep that going? Well, Kevin Durant, another big game. Man, he looks so good. 31 points in 37 minutes for Durant. He was 4 of 7 shooting 3, 11 of 19 overall. Did it all. Harris, beautiful quick pass in the corner. That's a free throw for Durant. Nets lead by 14 after 3, but the Heat wouldn't go away. Duncan Robinson did not have a good three-point shooting night. He was 3 of 11, 18 points. The Heat shot just 28% behind the arc, while the Nets shot 51. Meanwhile, from two-point land, they could not handle Bam Adebayo. He had 41 points on 14 of 20 shooting. That's 70% from the floor. 9 assists as well, 5 rebounds. So it's a game. And the fourth quarter belonged to Kyrie Irving. James Harden pretty quiet in this one, just 8 field goal attempts in 38 minutes. Harden did have 11 assists and 7 rebounds, but Kyrie doing it inside, doing it outside. He was that classic Kyrie monster fourth quarter performance. We saw it in Boston. Of course, we saw it in Cleveland. Had the huge shot to beat the Warriors in a championship. You know he loves this. It's winning time. And whether it's threes or whether it's finishing at the rim with either hand, Kyrie Irving, what a fourth quarter he had. 18 of his 28 points in the fourth quarter. 18 for Kyrie. 3 of 5 behind the arc. 28 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. And again, we can't be hugging each other after the game now. Protocols. Oh, yeah, sure. In the end, the Nets are winners by 4. And boy, what a fourth quarter for Kyrie and an interesting year.
Talked about it, on the defensive side of the ball, less so much on the scheme, but more in terms of the hustle, the fight, those little intangibles that it takes to win games. Rate how you guys performed, in your opinion, in that department tonight in the win.
Well, we had a chance to respond, and I feel like we did. We could have had every excuse in the book. Both teams, both played last night, and we didn't allow that to happen. We had 2 losses where we had to learn a lot very quickly, and we just moved on to the next night. And I feel like we gave the effort in spurts, and obviously we want to have more consistency in that, and that'll take time. But I'm happy with the effort tonight, and I'm happy with the way Joe shot the ball. I'm happy the way KD shot the ball. I'm happy the way everybody kind of filled in, and we just figured out a way to win.
It's just the second full game that you guys have been together as a whole group. How much are you enjoying this process of building this continuity as a group as you embark on this journey?
Very excited. I mean, you come in every day and you're surrounded with guys that have a lot of experience in terms of the years in the league. So we've seen quite a lot together and as individuals. So, us as leaders of the group, mainly guys that have 8 years or plus, I'm saying, and we're not the significant leaders, but we have a strong voice and we have to lead by example. So I think we take that very serious, and we want to leave a lasting impression on these guys. And the way to do that is coming to work every day and doing it at the top of your ability, just having a relentless work ethic. So we just want that to continue on.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post. Brian, you're muted.
Oh, hey, Ty. You talked about learning from those games in Cleveland. I'm curious, was there anything schematic that you guys learned that you put to use, or was this just a matter of you guys playing better individually, defensively? And for you personally in the fourth quarter, was that game flow, defensive matchup, or did you just make a conscious decision to be more aggressive?
That's winning time. I've always said that throughout my career. So when it gets down to that point, obviously you just want to buckle down on the defensive end, get stops, and I felt like we did that. In terms of your first question, what did you ask again? I'm sorry.
I was asking whether you learned as a team?
Oh,
Have
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys
Oh.
learned anything defensively, or was it just a bit more effort?
It was just effort, man. Effort, things we can control. You know, like I told you the other night, you got to give credit to that Cleveland team. You know, they had, you know, two guys that originally played on this team. They were very comfortable playing against us the whole entire time, and you know, it's just mutual respect for them. And we wanted to take this game personally and just come out and compete. And glad we came out with the win.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Kyrie, I'm just wondering what you made of Bam Adebayo's performance tonight.
Oh, man. Yeah, 41, 9, and 5. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it was about time Bam had 40, you know, in terms of getting a lot of those moves that he's been working on in the offseason. You know, and I've known Bam since he was 15, 16 years old. So just watching him grow since high school, be able to take over at this point for, you know, kind of a undermanned Miami team, it's good to see. You know, and obviously I'm pretty sure he would like for this game to be a win in terms of having that. But, you know, for me, I'm nothing but a supporter of Bam, and I'm glad that, you know, he got to shoot well and we got the win.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Kyrie, got two for you. First, following up on Malika's question, were you kind of trying to get a jersey off of Bam at the end of the game, and did they not allow that to happen? What kind of happened there?
I just want to follow NBA protocols.
My bad. I'll leave that at that.
Okay.
Second, you know, obviously, fourth quarter, you called it winning time, but I think you started the game 4 of 10, then you make 6 out of your next 7 shots. Is there just some place you go in the fourth quarter to kind of lock in, or is it just does it just happen?
No, yeah, we just had to command the flow of the game. I feel like we injected ourselves as a group throughout the game, and then down the stretch, we had a few good plays that were working, and we stuck to it. You know, they were in zone primarily, throwing some of the same tactics or strategy that the Cavs were throwing at us, you know, 2-2-1 press, and then putting us in 3-2 zone or 2-3 zone. So we made adjustments, and
You have a lot to talk about, you know, the defense and the improvements that you guys have talked about that you wanted to make. How would you assess the defensive performance overall in this?
I think we played with a sense of urgency. I mean, we made sure our technique was right and our schemes. I think we did a good job of forcing those guys off the three-point line, and you know they threw it to Bam, who's an all-star in the post, and he did his thing. You know, Jeff and DJ made him shoot tough shots all night, and you got to live with those. And you know, he's such a great player that he's gonna keep him in the game with his passing, his rebounding, and shot making. So I think overall we did a solid job. Duncan Robinson didn't get his loose. Maybe he got a few late, but he didn't get his loose. So I think we followed the game plan.
This fill-out process, you know, like with obviously yourself, Kyrie, James, other guys all get involved. Just the second game where you guys have all been together. From your perspective, what is this fill-out process like as you build trust?
Trust is already there, I think. I think just the familiarity with each other is there already. We play with each other and know each other's games for the last decade. You know, it's just a matter of, you know, what plays we're going to run at certain times, what lineups we're going to have out there. I think, you know, both the coaches and the players are fine-tuning everything. And we're going to have spurts where, you know, we play inconsistent. It's just because, you know, we're trying things. But for the most part, our minds and hearts are in the right place when we're out there. And we're trying to take care of business every possession.
Bruce Beck with NBC New York.
Kevin, before the game, Steve said that he wanted to see 5 men show intelligence and passion. Do you think you saw that tonight?
For sure. You know, being intelligent out there is half the battle, you know, and I feel like a lot of guys, most of the guys on this team, well, everybody on this team knows how to play the right way, knows different schemes, that played in different philosophies on both ends of the floor. And it's about executing. I think tonight we did a good job. I mean, we were up 20 points. We were up 16-14 going into the fourth quarter, and you know, so we were in good shape. But we got to put together 4 quarters of great basketball.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Kevin, following up on you talked about coaches trying things and fine-tuning. After the last game, the sentiment was, hey, we don't need to tinker that much with scheme. It's more just guys have to individually defend better. After this game, I'm curious, were there changes in terms of game, or was this just you guys play better on defensively, individually?
Yeah, I mean, definitely your defense looks better when teams miss shots, you know, and you got to give credit to the Cleveland team who knocked down shots on us, and then in the fourth quarter tonight they made shots, sometimes over a hand, you know, so you got to live with some of those things, and, you know, this is the NBA, guys are pros, you know, so we put ourselves in position to get stops, you know, by contesting Bam in the mid-range, taking Duncan Robinson off the three, Kelly Olynyk off the three, you know, so we went through the stuff that we were supposed to go through in film, and we went out there and executed. You know, so we, for the most part, we did what we were supposed to do.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Kevin, this was only the second full game for you guys together, you know, you, Kyrie, and James. Even though James didn't get his usual amount of shots, do you find it almost shocking that you guys can play this well together so quickly, you know, to the point where you guys combined to score every point in the fourth quarter?
No, I don't. It's not a surprise to me. I mean, we're veterans in this league. We've been through every situation so far, so we know how to handle that. And but for the most part, it's getting our teammates involved early on. Joe got going, Jeff got going. You know, I think that's what we try to do to start the games. And if we're in a fourth quarter game, we got to go out there and be special and be who we are and make plays. And you know, but our whole team put us in position to go out there and execute in the fourth.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Kevin, scoring 20 points in all 13 games you've played in this season is the longest streak you've.
Do you think that Kyrie is worth all of this drama?
No, he's not. He's not worth it at all. A matter of fact, let me say this straight up and down. I think Kyrie Irving should retire. I think he should announce his retirement today. Clearly, you don't want to play basketball bad enough. Now, you might still want to get the $33.4 million, obviously devoid of some of the docked pay you'll receive because you haven't complied with safety protocol measures, and as a result, the league is going to determine when you come back instead of yourself, or taking personal leave and obviously forfeiting game checks or whatever the case may be. But still in all, at the end of the day, you know what, you're still going to get, you know, in excess of $20 million at the very least, even though you're on the books for $33.4 million this year. Kyrie Irving has not prioritized basketball. I'm not saying he doesn't want to play all together. I'm saying he hasn't prioritized it. And how fair is that to the Brooklyn Nets? How fair is that to Sean Marks? How fair is that to Steve Nash, a coach that he endorsed bringing on board, a coach that he wanted, a coach that he fully supported? How fair is that to his brother, Kevin Durant? Now, we can sit up there and say what we want about Kevin Durant, temperamental and all this stuff. This brother is a superstar and answers the call the way superstars are supposed to answer the call. Whenever he can play, he does play. That's who Kevin Durant is. He loves playing the game of basketball. He can play it for a lot of money because he's so great he commands it, or he'd play for free. But he'll play anywhere because that's who he is. Kyrie Irving clearly is not interested in doing that, and that's the problem. So guess what? Go ahead and retire. Go ahead and retire until you know that you're committed to playing. And the reason why I seemed a bit perturbed and a bit disgusted by all of this is because Kyrie Irving, this is what's going on right now. There's a lot of stuff that's been happening in this world over the last few months, as we all know. Social justice issues and beyond, and we get that. And Kyrie Irving's heart is in the right place. He wants to do a lot of things for the community. He wants to do things to uplift the community, to address some of the concerns, the things that have ravaged our communities for many, many years. He wants to do all of that. In that regard, his heart is in the right place. He's philanthropic. He's very charitable with his time, with his donations, and things of that nature. Just the other day, we saw him on the phone with some congressional figure. I don't know who it was. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. But clearly trying to address some of the concerns that are ailing our society and our community. We understand that. Here's the problem that I have. He acts like he can't chew gum and walk at the same time. You can do that after you fulfill your duties or in the midst of fulfilling your duties. Just because you want to do all of those other things does not mean that you can't show up to work. Just show up and earn your paycheck. This dude signed 4 years, $141 million. Last year, he played 20 games. He made a whole bunch of noise and hoopla about how the players shouldn't participate in the bubble during the postseason. A bubble, by the way, that he wasn't going to be able to participate in because he had right shoulder surgery. But still, he was making noise. And then went against Chris Paul and the Players Association, Chris Paul, Andre Iguodala, and all of those boys without even letting them know or giving them a heads up as to what he was going to do. He just bucked the whole system and decided that he wanted to do things his way. Then he comes into this season. Now that KD is healthy, okay, he still doesn't have his legs out, his legs together or whatever. KD is still getting into game shape. He's still getting his game back and averaging 27, 28 a game. This is who this dude is. Surreal, big time, just elite. Future Hall of Famer, two-time champion, two-time NBA Finals MVP. And we all know that the Brooklyn Nets would not have wanted Kyrie Irving had it not been for Kevin Durant. So if you're Kevin Durant, obviously you had to vouch for this brother. You had to insist on this brother being there with you. You had to want him the way Kawhi Leonard wanted Paul George. That's what you did with Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving repays you and repays the Nets organization by skipping games for personal reasons. You're violating safety protocols. I know you were dancing with your sister Asia, and I get all of that, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But the times that we're living in, you know the last thing you need to be caught doing is being in a crowd of people without a mask on. You know that's going to raise red flags. It's going to make the NBA step in. Safety protocols and measures are going to obviously be discussed and probed, and whether or not you violated them, you know all of this stuff. You don't care. You don't mind missing games or anything. So guess what? This is what Kyrie Irving is saying. Basketball is not a priority to me. Nobody, Karis LeVert, Kevin Durant, Allen, Joe Harris, Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni, and the rest of the coaching staff, Sean Marks, none of them deserve this. The owner, Joe Tsai, he doesn't deserve this. Nobody deserves this. Kyrie Irving, until you want to play, you should retire, forfeit every penny you make, retire, and go do what you want to do in regards to these issues that are clearly most important to you until you are ready to play. And my last point, Max, is saying this. If you know anything about Kyrie Irving, one of the people he loved, and I hate to bring this up, but it's unavoidable, one of the people he loved so dearly was the late, great Kobe Bryant. Kyrie loved this man, and he loved Kyrie, okay? This is a person that you respect and wanted to emulate. If you knew anything about Kobe Bryant had a multitude of interests. He was always doing something. Missing games when healthy was not one of them. No matter what Kobe was doing, no matter what, even if he wasn't necessarily 100%, he didn't miss games. This is ridiculous. And you know what? He just needs to retire. He just needs to retire. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.